You made it to December and you not cussing? Stop lying. Be advised. Hey y'all, I'm Jenn. I'm from Oakland and I'm an androgynous, black, lesbian feminist and a lover of all black people.
This is Daren. I'm an asexual novelist, researcher, and bona fide comic book fanatic from the widest part of Southern California.
Orange County. We're queer millennials with 3 kids and nearly 20 years of marriage.
This is a podcast about the realities of blackness, adulting, and relationships.
This is That Black Couple. Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. How are you? How's it going?
I'm doing great.
It's the end of 2024 and I want this bitch to get out of here.
Bye.
Bye, bitch. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be in this year anymore. Jimmy Carter died. I think it's because he was like, I don't want to see what's coming in 2025.
Rather not.
I don't need to know. He was like, I just stayed alive because I wanted to see Kamala Harris win and she didn't. So I'm out, everybody. Bye. Anyway, how y'all doing? How you doing, dear?
I'm doing great. I'm enjoying the holiday season. We're spending a lot of time with family. Mm-hmm. The one that we choose. Chosen family.
We don't do obligatory relationships.
No, we don't.
No,
and that's making this a great holiday season.
It's making, you know what? I will say for the last few years, we have had fantastic holidays because we do not spend them with anyone we don't like. Mm-hmm. That's great.
It makes all the difference in the world.
Well, that's very on brand because this is episode 9 of season 7 and we're talking about holidays and we're talking about how they're all fake and how a lot of this is about myths.
It's all made up, y'all.
It's all made up. And so people getting all up in arms about holidays and being all defensive about them is kind of weird because none of them are real.
Yeah, and we'll get into the reason why.
Yeah, the reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, reasons.
And let's start with, y'all get something to drink. I'm drinking a Coca-Cola again. I haven't had a Coca-Cola in a number of days. I've been drinking kombucha and tea and lots of water. Mm-hmm. And today I said, you know what? I want a Coke. So I'm having a Coke because I want one.
Treat yourself.
I'm treating myself. And I would like you all to sit down, please. Preferably somewhere comfortable. Get under a blanket. Light a candle. Bath and Body Works, they just had a candle sale on 3-wick candles. Buy one, get one free. And I bought candles for everybody. And I bought like 90 of them for myself. I really wish our listeners could tell how many times we get interrupted by our children.
I work very hard.
You're really good.
Very hard to make it sound so seamless.
You're very good at editing this podcast because no one knows that our children knock on the door 17 times and go, Daddy, Mommy, can I have more time? Mommy, Daddy, can I have some bread? Mommy, Daddy, can I have some top ramen? Grow up already.
They're working on it.
Have a seat. This is That Black Couple. I'm Jenn.
I'm Daren.
And before we get started, please make sure you follow us on Threads and Instagram at That BLK Couple, on Facebook at That Black Couple, and look us up on the internets at www.thatblackcouple.com.
And you already know we are found everywhere, all streaming platforms. So share us, invite your friends, gather around a Bluetooth speaker and listen together, sit with your legs crossed or on soft pillows.
Not legs crossed.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a meditation.
Yeah. Meditate, just close your eyes and let the words, flow into your brain.
If y'all could see his hand gestures right now, the way he is gesturing toward flowing
I'm illustrating.
Something wrong with you.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's good. It's relaxing. Mm-hmm. I like to think.
Don't start ASMRing.
I like to think that I have a great radio voice. And I think that
you were very immature.
I think this would be a great way to start your day.
I think you're immature.
And to end your day.
I don't understand how we turn 40 and you are regressing.
Because I don't give a shit no more.
I don't either. Anyway, want to start the episode?
Let's go. Let's get started.
Okay, let's talk about this. It's the holidays, right? It's the holidays. And I will tell you, this year I feel like probably the least holiday-y of any year ever, because the world's fucked up, and I feel like this is the final chapter of America, and also Trump again. And there's so many people here who I hate, and I don't like them, and I don't want to go outside. So it's hard to be like, yeah, holidays, when like gestures wildly at everything.
Yes.
But also because holidays are stupid and they're not real. I've been trying to get my book reading back up this year. I got 25 books done this year, which was huge because I haven't done that since I was like a child.
Yeah.
Graduate school takes reading out of you. It's like you don't like reading anymore because you're always reading for someone else and to prove something to someone. So reading becomes like a hazing process.
Yeah.
So this was the first year where I was like, I'm going to get back to reading things that I enjoy. And it took a lot of fucking work. I would just like to say, it took a lot of fucking work. Pisses me off how much work it took. Anyway, but I read a combination of audiobooks and I like the old school handheld, paperback, hardback books too. But I really like to listen to books about the craft. That's my preferred kind of audio style book. If I'm reading like a fiction, I like to hold fiction in my hand. If I'm reading nonfiction, I like to hold it in my hand. But if it's about the craft of writing or, philosophical things, I like to listen to them. And I decided to listen to Ta-Nehisi Coates' The Message. I've only ever read a Ta-Nehisi Coates book via audiobook. And I really like this one because he's the voice. He voices the book. Mm-hmm. But this book hit me because, it's not like he was saying anything that new, if I'm being honest, right? He wasn't saying like anything we don't know. But he starts off the book talking about how he had this deep love for this football player. And he learned all this stuff about this football player. The football player was like super injured, and he read Sports Illustrated, and he learned basically this football player wasn't that great of a guy. And it fucked him up because he was like, oh, in my mind, I had created this like mythological person. I had created this idea of who this man was in my mind. And then when I come to find out who he actually is, he's just not that. And he compared that to so much of, living in the United States. And I've said this many, many times, for me, that was like Disney growing up. It was like watching Cinderella and Little Mermaid and, having the Disney childhood. We are the Disney generation. And then growing up and realizing, oh, that shit's all fake. And I thought about this episode and the idea of talking about fake holidays, because all of them are fake holidays, and about myth making, because it anchors so much of our lives. And we don't really know that until we're full blown adults and we've already had time to make our ideological investments. We've already decided who we are. We've already decided what our favorite sports team is and what our political party is and where we want to live and what kind of people we should be around. And we've done all that based mostly on people's lies, white people's lies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was thinking kind of in this about a similar thing, but in a different way. I was thinking about, honestly, the whole concept of Santa Claus, in the holiday season and coming down the chimney and doing the gifts and the cookies and all that stuff. And, as I grow older and, we raise our kids and all that, I always keep comparing my childhood to theirs. And it's so interesting because to me as a kid, like, I never really believed in Santa.
Yeah.
I never really believed, but I was the type of kid, I would play along with you.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, okay, Santa's coming, you got to go to bed. And I was like, okay, I did that like for way too long, for way, way, way too long. Right. And my kids have been challenging the concept of Santa. I don't know, since
from the
like
moment
5,
we introduced it,
like since the moment they could talk.
Yeah.
Right? And so but kind of jokingly with them, we have always kind of pushed back on them and said like, oh, well, what about this? And they go, how did Santa deliver all these presents?
Because it's funny.
Right. And we have this banter, but like underneath it, it's like, we're all sitting here like, we know this.
We know this is bullshit.
It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
But then even, going beyond that, like in my family, we had this really weird, this really weird tradition around presents.
Tell about it.
Where it was like, okay, so Christmas is coming, so everyone make a list of the stuff that they want, and then we'll circulate the list to everyone, and then everyone will go off on their own and talk to each other in different groups and figure out who's going to buy what for each person. And then surprise, on Christmas you get the stuff that you asked for. Oh my God.
So weird.
It was really, really weird because it takes the whole reason behind, the
giving part,
the made up holiday of Christmas, of like, I'm buying a gift for you because I love you and I'm going to think about you and I'm going to figure out what I think would be a great gift for you.
Right.
It was basically like, just tell me what you want and I'm going to buy it.
Just tell me what you want. And honestly, being in your family now for 20 some odd years, that shit used to get on my motherfucking nerve, especially because them niggas is Christians.
And then there'd be people you kind of don't want to buy gifts for, but then
you feel obligated.
It's an obligation to buy them gifts because you can't just not buy one person a gift because we're all buying gifts for each other. And then people be buying you stuff that you didn't ask for, or like they buy you the cheap version of the thing that you wanted, and then you're just like, I could have just bought this myself and moved on.
But also, I mean, I think it's important to say, and this is going to be immature, and I don't care, but people were like, oh yeah, right, you heard me tell me that Jesus was born in December, and he's a Capricorn, and he gave his life for y'all niggas, and that's true. Ain't no way Jesus' ass was born in no fucking December. Ain't no way that Mary was walking her ass on them fucking rocky ass cliffs with a donkey, 9-10 months pregnant in December. It's not possible, y'all.
These are the fairy tales that we like to buy into and tell ourselves.
Yeah, it was probably smooth in the spring, and that's cool. Mm-hmm. And she gave birth to a baby, and he I'm sorry, y'all, he probably wasn't the son of God. No shade. But he probably was a prophet. He probably was important. He probably did some important things. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. And I think what bothers me is like the ways that people have just decided that these holidays, these traditions, these ceremonies are more important than actual people.
Yeah.
Right? Like when I think about your family tradition and the way we used to participate in that, it felt so disingenuous to me as a person who likes to give and who enjoys family and caring for others. And it doesn't have to be tethered to a religion, right? Like I feel like these fake holidays, they force us into modes of being that really are about pacification and about sameness and about behaving in ways that are socially acceptable. When if we really cared about each other, we would do things wholly differently. Like I really enjoy how we are now. Like, we still participate in some of that for our children, but really we pay attention to who they are and we're teaching them to do that with us. Like if it's going to be a gift, it needs to come from the heart.
And that's one thing I would say I was so proud of. And it was one of those moments, it's one of those parent moments where you're like, oh, I did that shit. Mm-hmm. Right? Because my son, who turned 17 years old this year, took it upon himself. He's like, I'm going to buy gifts.
Actually, that's my son. Actually,
tomato.
Actually, he's my son.
Potato. Actually,
that's my kid.
Anyway, he decided I'm going to buy gifts this year, and I'm going to buy the things for my family that I want to buy them.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to, put a list together like I just talked about. I'm going to say, my sister, what do I think she wants? I'm going to buy her this. Yeah. Right. And it was just an amazing thing to see that he came up with that all on his own. Like no one said, hey, this year, what you should do is he from his own heart said, hey, this is what I want to do. I'm going to take this upon myself. I'm going to take this seriously. I'm going to go and I'm going to buy this stuff. I'm going to make sure it's a secret so people don't even know what stuff they're going to get. Right. I was like, wow, like this parenting thing, there's something to it. Like you parent and then sometimes your kid comes out the way you parented them.
Right. So just imagine if we didn't do all this fake mythological shit, how great people would feel. Exactly. And how better of a place it might actually be if people didn't have to perform based on a preset subscribed notion of who we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to treat each other. Let's just imagine it for this episode.
This podcast is supported by generous donations from our patrons and listeners. Become a supporter today by heading to www.patreon.com/colorcombosmedia.
You can stream the show on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and SoundCloud. When you listen, please consider hitting that heart button, sharing, giving us a 5-star rating, and leaving some dope comments. This helps us with our page rankings and gets more listeners for the show. Thank you so much.
And we're back.
We are back.
And it's time for the conversation.
Yay.
And so, if you've been listening, you've probably been thinking, wow, why are they coming for holiday so hard? Why are they saying that they all fake? Well, it's because they are. I mean, we made them up.
We made them up.
Humans made them up.
White people.
They said it's March, and we believe in this St. Patrick, and we think he should have a holiday.
A white person.
So they just made it.
Yeah, in the U.S., we celebrate so many holidays that are based on white people.
Mm-hmm.
And when you actually study the history of how we got holidays like MLK Day, it makes you really sad.
Yeah.
Like when you go into the archives and realize that they had a whole like committee in Congress to decide if we could have MLK Day, that folks had to rally for years and have multiple meetings and write letters and petitions to beg the government to formally recognize MLK. But these raggedy ass slaveholders get days for literally decimating thousands and thousands of... Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Darren. Go ahead.
And
Darren.
you digress.
I'm sorry.
But yes, and to me, this is, last episode I was talking about something that's been kind of been on my mind all year. Another thing that's been on my mind all year is the concept of identity making.
Yeah.
I've just been watching and listening and reading, and contemplating and meditating about the concept of like identity and how every single person on this earth builds their own concept of what their identity is.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, as you were saying earlier, it's just made up shit.
Yes.
Right. Like the one example I always go back to is like football.
Oh God.
Now people are like, I love the Rams, or I love the 49ers, or and I'm going to wear all the memorabilia and I'm going to go to every game, and when they lose, my day is ruined. And I'm like, these niggas don't know who the fuck you are.
They don't care.
They don't know your name. They don't know your address. They don't know if you're married, if you got kids, how much you make a year. They don't know anything about you.
Correct.
And you have fictitiously latched onto this concept to build some type of identity for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And the same idea of that whole identity making concept is what these holidays are. Like you think about Thanksgiving. Why are we celebrating Thanksgiving?
I really am so tired of... Listen, I really enjoy the food that we eat. I like cooking on Thanksgiving. I like getting the days off. I like spending time with my family. I just am so confused as to how we are still living in a place where people treat it as though it is not problematic.
Like, come on.
Indigenous people every year be like, hey, y'all, for real? And at this point, I'm like, yeah, for real?
For real.
For real? We still got to do this whole ceremonial shit where the president got to pardon a turkey. And what are we doing?
Yeah.
At what point do we grow the fuck up? Are we adults? We are not 4 years old anymore. We don't need to wear pilgrim hats.
But it's all fiction.
Yeah.
It's all made up, right? Christmas is the same thing, just like you were saying earlier. Like, y'all, I hate to break it to you, but
yeah.
They wasn't following, a northern star in the winter.
There's no way they could see the stars.
It didn't happen.
No.
This has been debunked so many times to people say, hey, what more than likely what happened is some of those things happened, and people said, well, we decide December, and so they just decided that's
right. Or what logically happened is that there's a pagan celebration that's very similar to Christmas that actually does happen in December, January. Or, they have All Souls Days. They have all types of other traditions that happen in December and January. And it's more than likely that they just said, let's just stick it around there, because that's how making things up works.
Yeah, it's convenient. You just latch on to something that's already there.
You just put it where you want.
You just change this detail, put someone else in, and then, something new.
But let's not pretend like that makes it like real or some established science. It's not. And I really want people, and this is not like to be anti-religious. This is to be anti-cult. Like we don't have, and this is any type of cult, like cult of personality. Like I think that I'm talking about it, and people can get mad if they want to. But like this goes with anything that is like based on us filling in the gaps of who we think someone is or what we think something is. Football is something I always bring up because a lot of people will say, well, I don't have a religion, but I love football. And I'm like, so football is your religion? Mm-hmm. Because people will know every person's name on every team, who was traded where, what college they went to. They're betting their actual physical money that they earn from their job on this stuff. They're going into debt over football. That sounds just like church to me. Mm-hmm. That sounds like religion to me. You got people who trying to get Beyonce concert tickets and will put the concert ticket above their rent. Like, That sounds like some culty religious shit to me. And it's not a dig on Beyonce. It's a dig on cults. You know what I'm saying? And I think that there's a lot of ways that we feel so comfortable leaning into these mythological ideas because we do find home. We do find other like-minded people. We find identity. We find camaraderie. But just call it that. Mm-hmm. And don't get mad when somebody's like, oh, that's a cult. And don't get mad when I'm somebody says that football is a religion.
Because it is what it is. And no one is saying you can't have that religion.
No, but don't act like you ain't got religion. When you sat here and you done told me Deuteronomy, Judges, and Nehemiah, Esther, and Job, and they just all people who play for the 49ers, the Miami Dolphins. I don't know no other football player name teams. Redskins.
No, they're not the Redskins no more. Oh, they're the Commanders. Now.
Commanders, and the one with the star, Dallas Cowboys.
But all this, right? You know, when we were thinking about this episode and thinking about how we might be pissing people off with this episode, I was thinking about like. You love these Greek god movies.
Sure do.
Like whenever Zeus is doing something.
Listen.
And then there's a lightning bolt.
Wrath of the Titans.
You know, all them
Cut
Titans.
Cut off Medusa's head. Turn somebody to a pillar of salt. I'm there, bitch.
You love it. You love that shit.
Love that shit.
But like the underlying concept of these gods, right, is that they have power.
Yeah.
Because people believe.
Worshiping them.
In them. Right. Yeah. Like even that show on Netflix, Chaos. Yeah. Right. The whole concept was like, the people believe in the gods. Yeah. The people pray to the gods. And because they're praying and giving them all of that energy, that's where they actually get the power from. Right. Once people stop believing the gods fall out of favor, they lose their power, they go away, they die. Right. And that to me, like you talk about the cult of religion and the cult of identity and all these different cults and these things, you know, all these identity making things that we were talking about. Right. All that is we are giving these things power.
That's right.
When you say I'm ride or die for the Dolphins,
why?
I'm ride or die for the Chiefs.
Oh my God!
I'm ride or die for the Lakers.
Yeah, wasn't that guy called a chiefaholic or whatever we saw that documentary?
There's a documentary about this guy. I haven't seen it yet. It is in my queue. I can't wait to watch it because I love watching.
And he's going on robbing sprees and all type of stuff.
He was robbing banks to buy Chiefs tickets,
and people online are cheering him on because he likes the Chiefs. I'm like, wait, what?
They're like, he's the number one. I aspire.
This man walking around in a wolf costume or something. Like, what is happening in Kansas City?
But that's the thing, right? Like these sports teams, the whole concept of professional sports.
Harry Potter niggas.
Harry Potter. All of these things.
Listen, I'm a Hufflepuff and I know lots about Harry Potter, but some of y'all niggas too deep.
But the idea is all of these things exist and they're powerful and they're meaningful and they're able to fleece people by making them buy stupid shit
people
and buy tickets that are way marked up
that they can't afford.
You know, whatever it is, all of it is because we give it that power.
That's right.
We give it that reverence to say this thing is important.
Yeah.
We are building the value into these things.
Yeah.
Just like all of these holidays.
Yeah.
Right? Like if y'all really gave a shit about Earth Day, then that could really pop and we could actually take care of the earth. But
nobody care because they all mad about them paper straws.
That's what I'm saying. But if we was really like Earth Day, when that come around next year, we'll be doing real shit for the
Kansas
earth.
City Chief dude wouldn't have no wolf costume. He'd be shaped like a globe.
Listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And I hope we're not too intellectual and theoretical.
Are you serious right now?
In this episode and how we're talking about this stuff.
Are you serious right now?
Because I think
people tune into us for that bullshit.
I know. I think we're really talking about some like high level concepts. And I'm really hoping that at the end of the year we're not fucking nobody's head up like, oh
okay,
shit,
tell them about Black Pete. Here, help them. Grounded in something. Let's talk about Black Pete.
Black Pete. This is a great one, right? You might have heard about this character that comes around every year. It's related to the the Feast of St. Nicholas, which is December 5th. And it's this character called Black Pete. There's a Dutch name. I won't say it because I will brutalize
I don't want no Dutch emails.
But it's this character, and it's been around since roughly 1850 in illustrated form. And they've done a lot of research to figure out like what are the roots of this person and what it is. And basically the idea is that Santa or Saint Nicholas, a saint, every year wants to give people gifts and shit, but he needs to know who's good and who's bad. And so he has Black Pete, who also has like demon crows or something.
Girl.
And they go around and they listen at the chimneys to figure out who's good and who's bad. Right. And so when you look at illustrations of Black Pete, it's someone who's depicted as what's known as a Moor, which is just a very, very dark skinned Black person. Right. And so every year, Dutch people, they dress up as Black Pete because this is,
white people, because Dutch people are white people, extremely clear, pale white people.
And every year there's a big hoopla and uproar because it's basically a bunch of Dutch people that dress up in blackface. They just they just put black all over their skin.
Translucent white people,
and go, ha ha, I'm Black Pete, woo hoo 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 ha. And when people start to really get upset, they didn't understand because they're like, this is just what we do. We're not trying to say nothing about Black people or nothing.
No.
This is what we do.
We just wear blackface here.
But this is the made up shit, right?
Yeah.
This is where make believe can get you.
Yeah.
It can get you so far down to a place where you're doing stupid shit.
Where you think that blackface is okay.
And then they recently revised it. They said, okay, maybe this is bad and maybe this is insensitive.
Maybe.
So we're going to now just change it. Again, the shit's made up. If it was real, you wouldn't change it, right? You couldn't just say, well, now we're just going to do it different, right? But we all know it's made up. So now they changed it, and now it's called Sooty Pete.
Sooty.
And so now, instead of doing blackface, what you do is you're yourself, and you put on like Santa Claus and stuff, and you put soot on your face.
Oh.
So it's not like you cover your whole face. You just put some black stuff on your face.
On it.
Because, you're Sooty Pete and you listen at chimneys and the soot's going to get on your face.
It's soot. It's not
so you
black.
can be white with black on, like streaks of black.
Yeah.
Right? Because,
that's different.
We're not coloring our skin. We're just saying it's soot from a chimney.
Because chimney sweeps have that.
This is the stupid shit that make-believe will do to you.
This is my problem.
We could have just said, let's not do it no more.
Right. They could have said, nah,
made up.
People matter. People's opinions about this and the way this makes them feel, that matters. That matters more than us walking around as some grown-ass fucking white people with soot on our face dressed as Santa motherfucking Claus. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And y'all know I can always find a way to bring this back to Disney. Because listen, Disney has been in the news a lot lately.
A lot.
Because they're fucking killing people. Let's just call it what it is. Okay? Disney had a woman come to their resort. The woman said, I have an allergy. They said, oh, we got you. Mind
you, she was like a Disney fanatic. She was like on, like, so to the point where she was on like Disney red carpets. Like she was a big
No, not her. No.
Oh, see?
This is a different one.
Different people.
Different people.
Because they're killing multiple people.
No, this is a guest. And she loved Disney. And this was her trip, her birthday trip. And they fed her food that had the exact thing she was allergic to, and she died. And this is the one where they tried to sue her. They sued her family. Yeah. Because the family was trying to get money because she died.
Because you killed her.
She died at their resort, and it was their fault. And so Disney, instead of saying, you know what, we have 700 gazillion, bazillion, zillions of dollars. They said, you know what, you small family of people who probably couldn't have afforded this trip anyway and lost your matriarch, we're actually going to try and get you to not pursue us. But people still love this company. Disney has been exploiting its employees since I worked there in 2007. 2007. My son is 17 years old. He was born when I worked there.
What was the other story I just told you about where I guess there was some, that's what it was. They changed the minimum wage in California.
Yeah.
And Disney argued.
Disney said, not us.
They argued, and mind you, they argued for years.
Yes.
That this new law did not apply to them.
Yes.
And so they actually did not raise people's pay.
Correct.
And again, mind you, if you've ever been someone who lives in Southern California and knows the Disneyland area, a lot of the people that work at Disneyland don't really have homes.
They're very, very, very poor people.
They're very poor. They live in motels. They live in their cars.
Yes. And this is the hourly folks. This is the hourly folks.
Right? And so Disney said, oh, no, we're not going to pay that.
Yeah.
And the courts finally came down to Disney and said, No, you got to pay them.
Yeah.
And so basically a bunch of people at Disney were going to get some big like lump sum payment. And by big lump sum, I mean, I think it wasn't even a lot. It was like
$1,000.
It was like
thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it was in the thousands.
Yeah, because they should have that.
And people were saying, "Oh my God, this is amazing! Like this is going to actually change my entire life.
Right.
Like, I could get an apartment.
I could maybe get a house.
I could
get a car.
like just that little pay bump increase for them was literally life changing.
Yeah.
And again, Disney, the family company, you know, with wishing upon a star and making your dreams come true, was basically like, bitch, we're not paying you.
And I feel like Disney is a perfect way to talk about this because they are the connoisseurs of myth making, right? Yes. They are all about where dreams come true. And I think that's probably where my dreams got dashed because I had to see behind the veil, like, oh, this is just white people making shit up and making money off of it. Mm-hmm. And that's what all these holidays are, right? It's just a bunch of white people making shit up and making money off of it, right? All of these companies benefit from us being bought in to these holidays. All of Amazon made hella money over Christmas. Mm-hmm. All these booksellers made hella money over Christmas.
All them workers went on strike, and Amazon said, "Okay,
we don't care." They don't care.
They don't care.
Like, think about Elon Musk. Elon Musk paid all that money into Trump's campaign and made it back like an hour later because people are just consumers, right? Mm-hmm. And so, I guess I really just wish that folks were more critical about their alliances, right? Like, to me, saying that you're all about liberation, but you love Disney, I don't get it. For me, it's confusing. I don't understand how you love a company that exploits and extorts the poorest and the most vulnerable people in the world, not in just this country, all over the world. They set out intentionally to go to places where people do not have unions, where people do not have protections, where people do not have affordable living wages, and that's where they settle down. People don't understand that Disney is outsourcing all types of shit in India. Like, they are paying people cents to the dollar because they don't want to pay for stuff in the U.S. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I just want better for folks. You don't have to. We don't have to do this.
We don't have to. We don't have to. But I think knowing is number one, vitally important, and also, when you know, making a choice, making a conscious choice. Like, if you decide, like I said, oh, I'm ride or die for the Dolphins, and I understand it's a religion, and I understand it's made up and it's not real, but this is what I'm deciding, how I'm going to define myself and the things I'm going to enjoy, and it does something for me and I'm happy with it. Cool.
But also, don't be sitting here talking about yourself as an abolitionist and a liberationist and a person who believes in Black life when you subscribe to something that is so detrimental to that very thing.
You can find my mom and dad, aka That Black Couple, on the web at thatblackcouple.com. That Black Couple is owned and operated by Color Combos Media. If you would like to help fund our content, sign up at www.patreon.com/colorcombosmedia. Please consider giving us $5 or $10 per month to help us build our platform and grow our organization. You can also give one-time donations at www.paypal.me/colorcombosmedia. All donations are welcome.
Okay, we're back.
We're back.
This episode is so funny to me because it reminds me of when I was like in my early 20s and I was working at PacSun in California, and I had that coworker, white dude, and he had asked me, like, what do you like? What are you into? And I had told him, like, he's like, do you like this? Do you like that? Like this, like that? And I was like, no. And he was like, ugh, like, you don't like anything. And I think about that all the time because I thought it was so fucking rude to say that because I didn't like the things he liked. Right? I didn't like golf. I remember he asked me about golfing and I was like, I don't fucking like golf. And then he asked me about sports and I was like, I don't fucking like no sports. And he kept listing all these things that are like what you talk about in corporate America and the things you are supposed to like to signal that you're a good American. You know, like a good upstanding citizen knows what's happening in the next football, whatever, you know, like who's going to be in the Super Bowl, like who's in the NBA final. I don't fucking care about that shit. And I think a lot about that mainly because people do feel like if you don't like the shit they like, then you don't like them, right? Like if you don't like sports, then that's somehow a dig on them. Or if you're not into, you know, whatever political thing they're into, or if you don't like Disney, you don't like joy, you know.
That's that identity making I was talking about.
Right.
Like, because when you build those things as a part of your identity, when someone says they don't like it,
you feel like a personal affront.
You feel attached.
Yeah. Yeah. You feel like they're saying something about you. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, at a very early age, I never felt that because I defined myself by so many other things. You know what I'm saying? Like I read books and I had a community around me and I had friends and I'm not white, you know? And so I actually have a culture and it's not based on made up myths. And I just wonder how long it's going to be that like folks of color, especially Black people, keep buying into this white shit. You know what I'm saying? Like keep buying into these fakey ass white people ideological beliefs and attitudes and systems and then wonder why they feel empty.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's not fulfilling.
And I think it's, I mean, it's probably going to be permanent to a certain degree. I mean, I think we live in a white supremacist world.
Yeah. And
living in that white supremacist world, right? Like I know I'm going to go to work and people are going to ask how my Christmas was. And there's certain things that they're going to be expecting me to say.
But are you going to say it?
No.
Because I'm not.
I'm not going to.
But we're also 40.
Right. But I think that's what I mean when I say I think that stuff's going to be around forever because I think are in a position, an enviable position where we can say like, well, we don't give a shit about that. We didn't do that. I didn't care. Yeah. Right. And not feel honestly like there's going to be like serious repercussions. Right. Yeah. But I know for a lot of people, right, like when you go to work, when you're talking to your boss, when you're talking to your coworkers, you don't want to be the one that looks weird or different.
No, you don't.
Or as we're talking about, say something that you disagree with where it's like tied to someone else's identity. Yeah. And then make them feel bad or shameful.
Because it could affect your pay. It could affect your job. Yeah.
And I think that's why I think these things are going to be around forever. Because as long as white people feel like they're okay with making shit up and then tying power and social capital to those made up things, we're all going to be sitting here dancing under that fucking shadow.
Yeah. And I think about my mentee a lot. She's coming into her own. She's in her 20s and she's like learning how to say these things. Like she's learning how to be like open about who she is. And I'm watching her struggle with it because she's like, I'm starting out and I don't want to alienate people. I don't want to have those conversations. And I think back to younger me who, you know, was afraid to tell people I wasn't into sports and, you know, who didn't want to talk about where I was from because I didn't want to deal with people's ideas about, you know, Oakland and the Bay Area and it being sketchy or, you know, all these things are just mythological things that white people walk around with in their heads and in their bodies all day. And then we have to contort ourselves to follow it. But I'm like, I think what I'm coming to at the end of this episode is like, what do we really want for ourselves? Like now that we're at the end of this year and it's been a long fucking year and we've come up on, you know, a really fucked up time in the world where we watched a really awful election this year. We watched some really awful shit around the world happen. And now we got to face another fucking presidency of Trump. Are we really going to keep doing this? Like, at what point are we going to prioritize what we want for ourselves and not what the myth makers want?
Well, and we've seen a lot of this. We've seen a lot of people making up their own shit, right? Like, I'm going to make up the shit that works for me.
Kwanzaa?
Right. Kwanzaa was made up.
Yeah, by an awful person.
But you know, he said, I'm going to make this up so we can have our own thing that we made up.
Yeah.
Right? For better or for worse.
Yeah.
Right? You can do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, one thing I love about our family is we do the holidays the way we want to do the holidays.
Yeah.
We're going to eat the food that we want to eat.
Sure are.
We're not going to feel like we got to eat this or we got to do that. We got to do. We're going to.
It's always busting though.
It's always busting. Always busting. Always. But we're gonna do it the way that we want to do it.
Yeah.
Right. We're gonna give the way we want to give the day and the time and the way and the manner that we want to do it.
And if some shit sound weird, we're not doing that. Like I ain't putting no elf on no motherfucking shelf, and we ain't doing no motherfucking Black Pete. And if my child's like, I don't think that's real, we're gonna have a conversation about it. Like I think I just am hoping that as we move forward, that Black folk will disabuse themselves of the ideas and the imagination and the limited possibilities of white culture, that Black folk will realize more now, you know, that all this shit is a lie.
All it really takes is questioning.
Yeah.
All it really takes is looking at the things that you're doing and asking yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I staying up till 3 a.m. wrapping presents?
Why?
Like what's the real reason?
What will happen if I don't do that?
And if it brings you joy and you're happy with it and you're at peace with it and it works for you, then it works for you. But don't do things blindly.
Yeah.
Just because you've always done it that way, or someone else said it has to be done that way.
Well, yeah, why am I worshiping a company that has a racist ass mouse as their mascot and a man at the helm of it who is one of the major contributors to the KKK in California?
Right.
Why am I doing that? Why am I a black person who believes somehow that investing myself in corporations like the NFL and like these businesses that don't got nothing to do with me, Apple, people that don't give a shit about me, why am I so tethered to them? And that they don't give a fuck about me.
Yeah, like you just brought that up, like the whole fight between like
Apple and Android.
Like,
what
who
are you
gives
doing?
a shit?
Do you manufacture them? Are they yours? Who gives a shit?
Why are we trying to fight these battles? Again, identity making, but based on things that don't benefit us. They're not for us. We're not profiting from these things.
For what?
It's this false sense of meaning and importance and better than something else.
And corporations have taken that and used that and forced us to fight each other and make stupid decisions. They got niggas buying Apple phones that's going to die in an hour, screens that can't be replaced, operating systems that wipe out all your contacts. And they like, this is all I know. Like this is y'all, come on. We're more critical than this.
Come on, y'all. Just ask why.
Come on. As I said to my ex when we broke up, use your noggin. As always, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, or you just want to tell us how great we are, email us at thatblkcouple@gmail.com. Bye.